Sorry. Okay, it looks like we're having some trouble hearing me. So let me try one thing. Just give me a moment. Sorry about that. Appreciate everyone's patience. One moment. Just trying one other thing. Okay, this should work. Let me try this. Share my screen again. Okay, so again, sorry about that. I am Katie. I am the enrollment coach for this program. I'm really just here to help you with anything that you'll need. If you have questions about the program, if you're wondering if it's the right fit for you, you can reach me here. This is my phone number as well as my email address, and I will be able to help you during the week with any questions. Let's just move on to our agenda. So we're going to go over the program details today, the philosophy, the program schedule, how all of this connects to the International Coaching Federation. We'll go over any additional program benefits. And then if you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the Q&A. And at the end, we will make sure we go through all of the questions together. So let's look at our program directors. Carol and Michelle, they have been with UC Davis and our coaching program since 2010. They are the ones that started this program, and Carol is an executive coach for Sutter Health University, and she actually has the level 2 ICF, the PCC level, and she also has her PhD. And Michelle is actually at the MCC or the master level with the ICF, and she has her own consulting business called C Strategies, where she's a coach. So that's who you'll be working with directly when you enter our program. They're both amazing resources. We're lucky to have them. And we've had over 500 students go through this program now. So let's talk a little bit about what coaching is. Our program covers the fundamentals of coaching. So we will go over the ICF's core competencies, and these coaching skills can be applied to a wide variety of niches. Coaches often serve in very specific categories. So there's a lot of possibilities, but those categories could be business, it could be organizational coaching, but it could also be like health, it could be wellness, it could be finances, it could be a relationship coach, a spiritual coach, or maybe just a life coach. But our program focuses on the fundamental skills that you will need in order to actually support those niches. So let's go a little bit further and talk about the program structure. This program is offered Fridays and Saturdays, on alternating Fridays and Saturdays. So like if you're looking at a 4-week month, the first Friday and Saturday, you guys will meet on Zoom from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then you'll skip a week, and the week after you'll meet Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have recently added 2 in-person days that will take place in Sacramento. These days will be optional, but the majority of the content is delivered over a virtual Zoom classroom. And then we will have 2 optional in-person days, and I'll show you what that looks like on the schedule. But this program is offered once in the winter or January, and then another time in the summer in August. Also, this program is about 5 months long. So in total, it'll be about 9 Fridays and 11 Saturdays. This 9 to 4 doesn't necessarily work for everyone's schedule. I know usually people are at work from 9 to 4. So typically what I will have students do is they will maybe work 4-10s, or maybe their job is already like compatible with coaching, and so their employer is able to support them taking Fridays off, or maybe they have PTO. But all in all, it ends up being about 9 Fridays and 11 Saturdays over a 5-month period of time. So In terms of the core competencies that I mentioned with the ICF is the International Coaching Federation, and they developed core competencies that they think every coach should have, regardless of what niche they're in. I've listed them here. You'll see a little bit more detail of the schedule, what that actually means, but you can see we have coaching essentials, the core competencies, coaching mindset, conversations, and then we end with mastery. On this schedule, don't worry, I will email this out, but on this schedule, you can see how those modules relate to the course description and on what days you will be learning them. So this is our winter quarter 2024 that we have upcoming. This is the next quarter the next cohort that we're going to offer. Each cohort is about 40 to 50 people each year. We've had a lot of interest in this cohort, so I do think it'll fill up again this year. But you can see we start January 26th, and we start with our coaching essentials. And the 2 in-person days that I mentioned are going to be these days that are highlighted in yellow, our demo days. So because this program is partnered with the International Coaching Federation, the ICF, part of what needs to happen is your coaching skills, once you've learned them and you practice them, they actually get assessed. So that can happen virtually or it can happen in person. But those 2 days, demo days, are the days we're able to assess your skills and report back to the ICF what level you're operating at. They have different, the ICF has different levels of competency, which I will show you soon. But essentially, those are assessment days. You will be well prepared for those days. A lot of people look forward to them. But these are the days that are going to be in person if you would like to join. It's not going to be a hybrid setting. So the people who are in person will be having their own demo day, and the people who are online will be having their own demo day as normal. Our classroom is in Sacramento, California. We have an office in Old Sacramento, if you're familiar with the area. But that would take place in person on Saturday, March 9th, and on Saturday, May 4th. When you're looking at this schedule, just know that the classes, due to the privacy and the kind of sensitive nature of coaching, these classes are not recorded. And this means that you will not really be able to make up classes. You can miss up to 2 days per, like in that 5-month period when the class is operating, you can miss up to 2 days total. And again, this connects back to the ICF. Part of their requirements are that you have a certain number of hours spent in education. And if you're not in class more than 2 days, you miss that mark for the number of hours of education. So when you're looking at this schedule, make sure that you're not going to miss more than 2 days, and make sure that those days you need to miss, if any, are not our demo days. Those days are mandatory because it is an assessment. So yeah, this is about a 5-month course, 9 Fridays, 11 Saturdays. 2 days will be optionally in person. Otherwise, you can join us online, but it won't be a hybrid setting. And you cannot miss more than 2 days, and the classes are not recorded. And we go through the ICF core competencies over this time. And don't worry, I'll make sure I get you this schedule if you need it. The entire tuition covers about $9,500, and that is going to include your tuition. We're going to pair you with a client. We'll also pair you with a mentor. You'll have a Zoom Pro license, and that'll also cover the application fee. The last day to apply for our program is actually December 11th of this year. And I could have sworn I had the questions. Oh, must have imagined that. Oh, they're right here. Okay. So when you're applying for our program, it's free to apply, part of your tuition, like I said, and you are going to, sorry, this black bar is probably in the way. You are going to want to just know that what we're looking for is to get to know you. And this application is in lieu of an interview. And really, we just want to make sure that you're in the right spot. But really there's no right or wrong answers, just really for us to get to know you. So you can see we ask like, what are your professional objectives in the short and the long term? How have your past experiences shaped those objectives? Why do you want to pursue a certificate in coaching? And then the last question is just about a time that you received coaching and what impact did that have on you? Once your application is submitted, I send it over to our program team for review. And then I typically get back to you within 1 to 3 business days with the decision. Once you've had a decision on file, you are able to enroll in our program. I'll email you the link so that you can enroll, but essentially tuition is due at the time of enrollment, and you can typically use like a credit card, or we also have a couple of other financing options that I can go over a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you what the application looked like while we were on the topic. There are no prerequisites. You do not need to have any experience in coaching. They're just looking for 5 years of work history, but it doesn't need to be in any particular field. Okay. So let's go back to the schedule and back to how it connects to ICF. So the International Coaching Federation is like a globally recognized credentialing body. Our program is the education, for the most part, that you will need in order to pursue this credential. There really is no federal or state oversight when it comes to the policing of coaching. So anyone can really wake up tomorrow and decide they want to coach or be a coach. But if you're someone who wants to build a book of business, or if you're somebody who wants to maybe work for a company, it makes a lot of sense to have the actual education so that you have the core competencies to deliver effective, ethical coaching. But additionally, it helps to sort of, because coaching is so like unregulated, it really helps to have these credentials behind your name, because they signify to a potential employer or a potential client that you have this level of understanding, you have this level of experience, like you've gone through all of these steps, and that kind of instantly legitimizes your ability to coach and your service as a coach. So that's why we partner with the ICF. But these two things, our program and the ICF, happen in tandem, and they happen with a little bit of legwork on your part. Our program covers this yellow column here, this PCC, or level 2 professional coaching competency. That is what we cover. And this is what the ICF asks of PCC level applicants applying for their credential. Our program fits in about right, I don't know if you can see, it's like the 4th column. Coach specific training, 125 hours documented coach specific training under PCC PA, coach specific training. That's where you're going to get a bulk of your tuition dollars worth right there. So in order to even apply to take the PCC level exam, you need to have 125 hours of documented coach specific training. Our program offers you 150 hours of coach specific training. This is why you cannot miss more than 2 classes, because otherwise you will not hit this mark of 125 hours. You can see they also ask for 10 hours of work with a qualified mentor. We partner you with that mentor. You'll also get 2 letters of reference just as part of your tuition from our coaches, and you will be fully prepared to take the live, oral, and written exams with the ICF. We've never had anyone fail the exam, so you'll be well qualified to take it. The only outstanding item that involves some legwork on your end is that we don't offer you the coaching experience hours. Our program focuses largely on the training, and the experience is something that you will collect on your own time outside of the class. We partner you with a community member so that you will receive 6 hours of unpaid training. And you can start collecting coaching hours the day that the class begins. A lot of students in the class, and again, there's 45, 50 in each class. So a lot of the students are pursuing this ICF credential. And typically, the cohort will barter with each other to help collect these hours. You can see that for the PCC level, they require 500 hours. 450 of those need to be paid, but there's no minimum on what you are required to be paid. And so that's why students are able to barter. And you can also see there's a minimum of 25 clients. So you can do 50 of those hours unpaid, and we will give you 6 hours with a community member that has volunteered to join this program for this reason. And that's something that you will do outside of the class, usually working together with other cohort members in order to accomplish it, but also friends and family and friends of friends who are willing to give you an hour of their time for coaching. But that's kind of how it connects to the ICF. And that was a more visual graph, but let me show you this written one. We'll go over it again really quickly. So our program offers accredited coach training for the level 2, the PCC exam. You'll receive 150 hours of coaching education, which is the equivalent actually of 15 academic units. And you will receive a transcript with a letter A through F grade with this program on your transcript. You'll receive 10 hours with a mentor who's also ICF certified. You'll receive 6 unpaid coaching experience hours, 2 letters of reference, and you'll be prepared to take either the ACC or the PCC exam. So, it's good. Again, application deadline is December 11th, but because we've had so much interest in this program, I would really get your application in. I mean, as soon as you're able to complete it, it's free to apply, and then we'll get your decision on file. And if you're approved, then you'll be able to put your tuition and reserve your seat. And just keep in mind, your seat is not reserved until your tuition is on file. The last day to apply is December 11th, but the last day to put your tuition on file is December 15th. And then the program starts January 26th. Students are going to be responsible for buying their own textbooks this year. Because we're largely online, and because of the limitations with our financial abilities, we have a lot of oversight, a lot of red tape. As you can imagine, we are a state-run, state-facilitated university, so we have a lot of oversight on our finances. And so because this class is online, students are going to be buying their books this year, and we will make sure that you have all of the books that you need to buy. So that will not be included in your tuition. Enrollment is going to be due, like I said, tuition is due December 15th, and then the class will be starting January 26th. So once I should be able to give anyone who has questions about the books, I should be able to give everyone a book list. Yeah, okay. So December 15th is the final day, and then class starts January 26th. Application is online. We kind of went over these questions already. Some of the other benefits are that you're able to join our alumni group on Facebook. Like I said, we've had over 500 people go through the program. And a lot of them will join our Facebook group, and it's a great way to network and connect. But like I mentioned before, UC Davis really focuses on the education portion of it. So there's not a lot of job placement that there's not any job placement that goes on after the program. If students are wanting to build their own book of business, I typically refer them to the ICF, who has a program specifically for coaches looking to do just that. And I'm happy to email you guys that link if you want to look at it and consider it. But one of the best resources is going to be our Facebook alumni group. Like I said before as well, this program is offered for 15 academic units. So you can actually take these units really anywhere that will accept them. Um, it's up to the receiving institution to accept 15 academic units from UC Davis, and it will depend on what program you're applying them to, if they have room for them in the program setup. But we actually have a transfer agreement from our coaching program to University of the Pacific. They have a Master's of Arts in Leadership with a concentration of organizational learning and effectiveness. So once you've taken our program, you will just need to take 7 classes with Pacific, and you'll take 1 capstone, and then you'll actually have your master's degree in organizational learning and effectiveness. And that is fantastic because then you don't have to worry about any of the units transferring or not transferring. And again, you'll get a transcript with this class on it that's worth 15 academic units on an A through F grade, but it'll be up to the receiving institution how they want to apply those to a degree. Okay, so in terms of financing your education, we are going to be emailing out everyone who attended today's information session will get a $100 discount code. You can apply that towards your tuition. A lot of our students also consider private student loans as a way to make payments after the program begins. These loans are based on credit, so the rate, your interest rate will depend on the actual application. Sometimes students will also use their GI Bill in order to cover this course. And then we also work with a couple of state funds. So typically these are centered around unemployment, but if you would like to look into them, their names are WIA and SETA, WIOA and SETA. These are usually job training funds that can help people with their tuition. Suzette Odom is our finance coordinator. She is able to help you with any of these financing options, whether it's the private student loan, the GI Bill, or if you're looking at WIA and SETA, she'll be able to help you with those. I've put her email address on this slide so that you can reach out to her. And then there's also a link to my Calendly appointment. If you do have any questions after this info session and you still would like to chat, that's also a great way to get a hold of me. I'll keep this on the slide so that anyone can write it down, and then let me just go through the Q&A. Okay. If you submit an application and decide you want to wait to the next cohort, do you need to resubmit an application? That's a great question. The answer is no. Glad you asked that. The application is actually good for 2 quarters. So if you apply for the winter cohort, you'll have you're approved, you'll have an approved decision on file for 2 quarters. So you can apply in the winter and then enroll in the summer if you wanted to. Okay, so the cost of books, that is a really great question. They only updated me about the books this morning, so I'm still waiting to hear for a cost breakdown. When I send out my email, I will include that in there. It's a very valid question. So it's a relatively new aspect of the program. So let me get that answer for you, and I will make sure I email it out to you so that you can know what to budget. Let me go back to the master's slide. So this program is called, I had a question come in about the Pacific's, the name of the graduate degree. It's a Master's of Art in Leadership with a concentration in organizational learning and effectiveness. I also had a question come in about, is this program suitable for international students? Yes, absolutely. This wasn't necessarily your question, but just in case, this program doesn't support any visa since it's largely online. But if you're just looking for a program in coaching, I think it's a good fit for you regardless of where you are. We have had people join us internationally, even when it was in person, and so it's been a good fit for them as well. Um, then, yeah, okay. I think that's all of our questions. If anybody, oh, okay, one more. Do you need any, like, what are the prerequisites is essentially the question. So you do not need to have any type of specific educational background or an AA or a bachelor's degree or a graduate degree in order to join us. You'll just need to fill out the application, and they're just looking for about 5 years of work experience, but it doesn't need to be in any specific category. And you won't need to submit anything as part of your application as evidence of anything. It's really just you answering the questions. Okay. So then one question came in about the two different levels. That's a great question. Let me pull up this slide. Okay. So the difference between this blue column and this yellow column is really the amount of hours that you have spent in coaching experience and the amount of hours you've spent in coach specific training. The blue column, ACC level 1, you can see that they're looking for 60 documented hours of coach specific training. And in PCC, they're looking for 125 documented hours. Our program covers 150, so it's a little bit of a null issue for that particular prerequisite between the ACC and the PCC. Doesn't matter. Either way, you'll have 150, which is more than enough to meet that prerequisite for coach-specific training. The biggest impact is the coaching experience. So at the ACC level, you can complete 100 hours of coach experience and then sit for the ACC exam. Then you'll have your ACC credential. Then the coaching experience for PCC is 500 hours. You'll need to have 500 hours before you can take the PCC exam and get the PCC credential. Okay. Yes, if your 5 years of work experience includes internships, that's totally fine. The course schedule is something that you can find on our website, but I will also include a link to it in the email that I send out. Okay, awesome. I think that's all of our questions. I will end our call for today, but if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to send a follow-up email. Like I said, I'll make sure I get that book info on there. And then if anything else comes up, please feel free to reach out. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.